Hello folks, how are you? I'd like to show you a new item I made. This here is a beautiful Christmas flower, and love how three-dimensional it is. I really laid it up with lots of foam tape and gave it lots of embossed paper embossing and sparkle. Love the way it came out. You could use these as tree ornaments, package decoration, maybe on an envelope, giving a card to someone. It could be on the front of a card. I made a second one, and I'm thinking that if you place them back to back, you would get a really superb tree ornament, or even a tree topper. I would think that in between you would place your ribbon when you sandwich these and glue them together, and the ribbon would come from the top here, and it would be held like that. Maybe a little too thick for you, I'm not sure, but anyway, I'm going to show you how to make one of these, and then you can decide how you would like to use them. What I did was I started off with the Sizzix brand new die, and 657362 is the number, and it comes with a embossing folder. So what you do is you cut the flower out. It's just a plain flower, and of course, because it's Sizzix, you can do plastic, you can do chipboard, you can do cardstock. You could cut 3 or 4 at a time, because Sizzix has such a strong strong metal die. You can do those. And then after you cut it, you place it in the cut image in the embossing folder, and then send that through your machine, and then you end up with one of these, which is really super cool. I think it's absolutely beautiful. Love the raised image on here. What I did was I cut one out of dark aqua cardstock. I'm sorry, I don't know the name of it, the name of the color. And then this here is from Bo Bunny, and this is the Kiwi double dot. I know it's hard to see, but the dots are there. And you could use either side, but I chose to keep the dotted side. So those are my 2 base pieces. And what I did was I have Distress Ink Pine Needles by Tim Holtz. And what I'm going to do is I really want to highlight those beautiful embossed areas. So I have my applicator, and I'm very lightly going to rub over, pick up all that beautiful embossed image with the ink. And I love the way it just pops. I don't know how that pops out. And you could do it with this one also. You're not going to see it as much because it's such a dark color. And I really don't want to see that much of this. This is my bottom layer, and your darker colors should always be on, for the most part, should always be on the bottom. So give that a quick little ink around the edges. And there you have it. There's the bottom. And then when you put them together, make sure you twist them so that you see all the layers. Now, I layered this up. When I put this together, I layered it up with 2 layers of foam tape. So not only did I put one piece down, but I took that top off, and then I put another piece down on top of that. Okay, so it's just right in the center. I'd put one more here and one more there, but for time's sake, for video's sake, I'm just going to use one for right now. And once again, you want to twist it so that you can see all the layers when you're putting it down and sticking it together. Okay, and that gives it its nice depth. Now, I like to curl my leaves, and you can do this at the end, but I like to curl my leaves up, give them lots of, make them look alive, make them look not like they're just plain paper. And you notice that sometimes the embossing causes the paper to tear a little bit, and that's fine. We like that. I do anyway. I like that nice rough edge. And then on the bottom, I took the little tips up, and I just used my nail, and I just kind of curl those up a little bit. So now it kind of looks like a real flower a little bit. Okay, so this is the first layer. The second layer, what I did was I used this paper here, and this is a new paper by Harmony, and I'm not sure what the name of it is. Milo, is that it? It may be. Anyway, it's a Christmas line. That's the other side, and that's the paper I used. And I used my new punch by EK Success. Love this punch. And it's meant for it to be, you're supposed to roll this up and make a flower out of it, but I didn't quite like the way that was looking, so I decided to punch it out, and I laid mine flat all the way around, and I'm going to show you how I did that. So I'm going to punch this out, and I hope you folks know how to use these punches. I have to stand up when I do these. And there's my first punch, and I just run it through the center anywhere. Now you have to line them up. And you know that when you move this along, you line up the edge. So I'm lining up this punched image with the image that's on the edge of the punch, so that I know that I'm exactly the right spot that I need to be in. And then you keep punching along. Once again, I line it up. I make sure it's sitting on the edge. That side's done. Just a little more on this side. There we go. So that's pretty cool. So that's what the trim looks like. You can just tear the end off. And what you're supposed to do, you're supposed to roll this up and make it into a flower, but like I say, I didn't really quite like the way that looked. So what I did was I punched out a circle, and this is, I know it looks like a scallop, I know it's a scallop punch, but any circle will do. This is a 2-inch circle. And you can even cut it out by hand. You're not even going to see this, so don't panic about the color or what it looks like. And what I did was I put adhesive all around the edge. And this is just a regular tape roller adhesive. You don't have to get fancy. So I put that all around the edge. And face down now, face down, because I want this pattern to be up face down. I'm going to start sticking this down and running it all along the edge. So there's where I started. Just so you can see, you know that that's going to stick out. So there's where I'm starting. And what I'm doing is, with my nail, I'm holding it in between the two flowers. See the space in between? I'm holding it in between, giving it a little fold there, and then sticking it down. Okay, so in between the two pieces there, hold my nail, bring it over, and stick it down. And I do that all the way around. And I like the tape runner for this because if you make a mistake, you can pretty much pull it up. It's not a huge deal. Whereas if you have liquid glue, I think it's going to get really messy. And hot glue is just going to be too permanent. So I would use my tape runner. And you can see that I'm just going right around the edge and sticking them down. And don't worry if it's perfect or not, because you can't tell on mine. With all the stuff going on, you really can't. Oh, that's like 1/8 of an inch off. Don't worry about it. There we go. We're going all the way around. And this is a 12-inch strip. And the 12-inch strip works perfectly, actually. You actually end up with a few pieces left over. So see how it's going all around the edge? And the first time you might have to get the hang of it, but once you get the hang of it, you kind of just boogie along. It's not really a big deal. So I'm coming to the end now. This is my last one. And I have 3 left over, and I just tear them off. Okay? And there's the back side. Now, You can put a little extra adhesive if you want to make these permanent. Oops. Oops. So there it is from the... This piece doesn't want to stick. Get down there. So there it is from the front side. And what I'm going to do is, I have my hot glue gun here. I have the same exact circle punch, 2-inch. And I'm just going to run hot glue all around just to make sure this is all stable. And just stick it right on down, sandwich it in between to make sure that these little guys aren't going anywhere. Okay? So there it is from the back. There it is from the front. And that's what this piece is in here. Okay? So this piece now sits on top of that. And of course, double layer foam tape again. I'm going to put 2 layers of foam tape in here. And once again, I would, to make it sturdy, I'd cover the whole base in foam tape. But just for time's sake, I'm only doing one. Okay, so there's the double layer foam tape. And I'm going to stick it right down, right in the center. Okay? And now, once again, pull these up. We want to see some nice definition. Pull these up. So we're getting there, folks. We're getting there. Okay? Now for my next layer, you'll see the next layer on the flower is this red accordion flower there. And what I used was this strip here, and this strip is cut, I believe, 1.25 inches. It's just about, I'm sorry, 1 1/8 inches. You could do 1 1/4 though. 1 1/8 inches, and what I did was, you can see that this edge has a pretty scalloped edge around it, and that's this EK punch. And actually, this one was on sale, $5 at Joann's the other day. I had already owned it and had it, and I don't know the names of these. This is a brand new one. This other one I use is brand new. And maybe you can tell by the pattern. I'm sorry, I don't have the name of it. And there's no name on it at all. So, and this one's an old one. But this one, once again, I'm going to punch it all around the edge. And don't forget, you line them up. And keep punching all along, just like I did with the other one. Punched all along the edge. I don't need that punch anymore. Let's clear off some of this. Scoring tool. Love my Martha scoring tool. And I'm going to score at every black line, every black dot, and every black line there is. So basically, every 1/4 inch. And don't forget, this is a 12-inch strip, once again. So I'm going to score at every 1/4 inch. And it's pretty easy because it's the black lines. Now, because this is a pretty stable decorative edge I just punched, I can punch it and then score. But if you had a very delicate edge that you were punching, I would score first and then punch. You can try it out and see which way works for you. Because this edge is a pretty soft, I mean, it's only a scalloped edge, it's not a big, it doesn't have a lot of detail to it, so it's not that big of a deal. But I'm scoring after I punch. And I'm going along every 1/4 inch, and I can tell those are the black dots and the black lines, so it goes pretty quick. And I'm going to fold it up like an accordion, like a fan. Remember, we used to do those in school. So here it is all scored, and it's almost curling on its own now. And I'm just going to fold this up on all the score marks. And the back side is, it's got all kinds of different stuff on it, but you're not even going to see it, so don't worry about it. And I'm folding it up. It goes so easy. I'm folding just like a fan. It's all scored, so it's pretty much going to be folding itself. And it goes pretty quick. So you go back and forth, just like a fan, the fans used to make in grammar school. So you go back and then forward, and then back and forward. Okay, all folded. Now I usually get you could use a glue gun, just make sure you don't burn yourself. You need strong adhesive to hold this together, otherwise it's going to fall apart as you try to make your flower. So I just glue the two ends together. And there you go, you have a circle. So you have your circle, and make sure that you keep your scalloped edge to the outside. I punched another small circle, and I think this is an inch. Nope, inch and a half. And you can cut this out. You're not going to see it. So, inch and a half circle. And this gets a little tricky, so make sure you practice a little bit before you actually put glue and put this down. We want this to fold in and glue down to the circle. Okay? So it's hard to hold and show you guys, but and we're gluing it right down to the circle, so you can see you get that accordion pleated circle look, and it's hard to hold and show you at the same time. Yep, that's not going to work, so I'm going to have to do it. What I do is my circle, and you have to use hot glue. Anything else, you're going to be here forever holding it, waiting for it for dry and to hold. So I like my hot glue. I put the circle on the inside with the glue. I put the circle of the pleated paper on the outside, and then bam, I just stick it down and I hold it until it sets, which is only, if you were using liquid glue, you'd be here forever. I've done it, and you hold it and you hold it and you're like, oh my god, I want to move on. And there you go. So it takes a little bit of time, it takes a little bit of practice getting it down and getting it in. And you can push the sides in as it's drying to make sure you have a nice tight pleat. And there you go. And there's the seam there, but you know what? I should have hid the seam a little better, but on this here you don't even see it once all the decoration is on. And what I do is I take the same circle, the same size, 1.5 circle, and I glue it on top with hot glue again. And that's that circle in there. That and if you can see it, the green one in there, and that really holds it down and gives it a lot of support. And I put it this was the Kiwi double dot. I put it the dot side up. So hot glue again. Stick it on top. And there you go. It's a little hot right now. And that's your next layer all done. These go pretty quick, don't they? Now this one I did not add foam tape to. This one I just glued down as is. So back to my hot glue. You could use liquid if you wanted to at this point. But I mean, hot glue is available, might as well use it. And there you go, I just glued it right down to the center there. So it's coming along, you can see how it's all layering up. Okay, for the next piece, what I did was I cut, this is another accordion flower, and this is by Sizzix. And this was the one that I used for the top one. It's a smaller, this is a real tiny, you can see these are the two. You can either have a scalloped or a pointed edge one. I did the, you can see I did the pointed edge one. And you cut it out twice because you have to put the two pieces together to accordion fold it up and make your flower. So I did the spiked one, and the paper I used was Jelly Bean paper, and it's apple cheddar soup, fresh apple slices. Apples are on one side, but I loved the, looked like snow, the little dot paper, and it worked well with my color pattern. So I used that, and now I'm going to put that flower together. And it's pretty easy. Once again, all I'm going to do is glue the two together. So I fold the two edges up and I glue those pieces together. You can use a little glue gun here, because once again this has to be tight to hold. And of course my glue gun is out of, I need another glue stick. Okay, so now that's glued together. Okay, so I put another stick in my glue gun and I folded this one all up. It was all scored for you, and I glued the two ends together. You can see the ends are glued right there. And you have a really small, this is now a really small one compared to the other one we did. I punched another circle, and this is a 1/2 inch circle. Nope, 3/4 of an inch circle. And I'm going to put glue, hot glue on there. And I'm going to stick this flower down also. Now I want the blue facing up. I don't want the apples. I like this one. This one has a pretty star pattern to it. Oops, wasn't dry yet. So there's that one. And that's just little dots. Oh, it's a little off center, but the paper's under there and it's pretty much holding the flower down. But this one's going to go on top, right here. And I'm using glue gun again. No foam tape needed. This is pretty thick stuff. And that got glued right to the center of the green. Okay, and the last piece is, where did they, oh here they are. I have Little Holiday by, I think these are by Floradoodle, no, by Petaloo. And these little Christmas little flowers, and I glued that one right on top. And these actually have a peel off back, sticky back to them, but that doesn't really hold. You need something strong. So I put a little extra hot glue on there and glue that down. And that's it, folks. All done, except for the stickles. And you know how I love stickles. So what I did was I used, let's see, I used the big one here. They have the new big ones that I absolutely love. It doesn't give a color, does it? No, it does not. I'm not sure. This is, I know it's a glittery one, a white glittery one. I'm just not sure what color it is. It's the big one. And then I used turquoise, the new one, Firefly, and then Christmas Red. And the big one here, the white one. Love this one. What I did was, see these little flowers sticking out on the edge? I just took my tip and filled them in a little bit, and I kind of moved around the glitter glue with the nozzle. See how I did that? And I did it on the bottom also. Putting in my stickles on the flowers on the two bottom green pieces. And it goes pretty quick. You just move the glitter around with the nozzle. Make sure you cover those flower areas. And then what I did was I put aqua, 2 red, and white all along these punched out petals. I put firefly green around the inside, the red valleys on the red pleated piece, and then I did aqua on the blue pleated piece. And that's it. That's it, folks. All done. All these supplies are at Holy Scrap, so if you want to stop by, we have the dies, the big flower die and embossing folder in stock. We have the stickles, we have the paper. Everything is there for you to make one of these flowers. And how gorgeous for a tree or cards. Love this on the front of a card. I think it would be absolutely beautiful. A package. Imagine a package all wrapped up in white paper and you just put this on. Absolutely beautiful. So hope you have fun with these and have a good day.